the shadow of Tenochtitlan's towering pyramids, a young man walked to his death, his final night spent with 4 brides wreathed in flowers and certainty. The flutes he carried snapped one by one on the temple steps, their notes swallowed by the hum of a city that turned desire into a weapon. This is no tale of savagery, it's a map of power. The Aztecs didn't just control bodies, they engineered appetites, weaving intimacy into a system that held millions in its grip. What you're about to hear will change how you see desire, control, and the stories we're told to obey. If you're ready to peel back the mask of history, hit like, subscribe, and drop your city or state in the comments. Let's build a brotherhood of seekers, from coast to coast, who refuse to be blind. Empires don't run on swords alone, they run on human hunger, managed like a treasury. The Mexica, known to us as the Aztecs, turned sexuality into a cosmic ledger. Who you loved, when you abstained, how you confessed, it wasn't private. It was infrastructure. Your urges were tied to the sun's rise, the harvest's yield, and the empire's stability. This wasn't chaos dressed as religion. It was a system of control so elegant it could make a man climb to his death with a smile. The most vivid example is the living image of Tezcatlipoca, the smoking mirror, god of fate and night. Each year, a flawless youth was chosen, not as a victim, but as a celebrity. Crowds parted for him. Musicians trailed his steps. He was given 4 wives, named for goddesses, their silks trailing like promises. For a year, he was seduction itself, a walking dream of status and intimacy. Then, at the appointed hour, he climbed the temple steps, broke his flutes, and offered his life. Why? Not because the blade was sharp, but because the story was sharper. His final pleasures weren't about joy, they were bait, a hook cast by a state that understood the male mind. If this is hitting you, don't just listen, act. Hit like to keep the signal strong, subscribe to stay in the circle, and comment your city or state. From New York to New Mexico, let's map a network of minds awake to the truth. Your voice makes this more than a story, it makes it a movement. On the other side was Tlazolteotl, the eater of filth, goddess of confession. Her priests offered absolution, but only once. A single cleansing for a lifetime of shame, a deal that bound you to the temple forever. Confession wasn't a whisper between equals, it was a contract, supervised and recorded. You walked away purified but marked, owing the institution that turned your secrets into order. This wasn't mercy, it was leverage. The Aztecs knew a forgiven man is a loyal man, and loyalty is a currency that builds empires. The Kalmakak for nobles and Telpakali for commoners were schools of discipline, not suggestion. Young men and women were trained in austerity. Abstinence was law, not advice. Break the code, seek an unsanctioned partner, and you faced public humiliation, disfigurement, or death. Adultery wasn't a personal failing, it was sabotage against the state's web of alliances. Punishments were theater, a message carved into the plaza, your body belongs to the city's stability. Even pleasure was engineered. The Oyanim, courtesans trained in song and conversation, weren't random vice, they were a controlled valve for elite men. Their houses were velvet traps, where a smile could redirect a favor and a whisper could end a rival. Marriages, too, were statecraft. Provinces sent women as tribute, sealing alliances with bodies instead of signatures. Consent bowed to obligation, and intimacy became currency minted by the empire. Bloodletting rituals, piercing tongues, ears, or even male organs with agave spines weren't about pain for pain's sake. They were covenants, public offerings that tied your vitality to the gods of war and harvest. Fertility festivals, where women were dressed as brides only to meet a knife, weren't about romance, they were about teaching that love, life, and death were a single corridor, walked under the temple's gaze. If you're seeing the gears behind the mask, hit like and subscribe to keep this journey alive. Drop your city or state in the comments. Let's see this map of truth seekers grow, from London to Lagos, from Texas to Tokyo. Your pin on this map says you're awake, and that's a vow no altar can break. Much of what we know comes through Spanish chroniclers like Sahagan and Duran, writing under conquest's shadow, their pens heavy with agendas. They exaggerated to demonize, but the codices, laws, and stones corroborate the core. The Aztecs turned desire into infrastructure. Punishments for breaking sexual codes, stoning, strangulation, public shaming, weren't moral outbursts. They were policy. Confession, marriage, and even pleasure were levers in a machine that powered an empire. But this isn't just about the past. Look at your screen. Modern systems still offer absolution for compliance, crown the chosen few with fleeting privileges, and punish private appetites when they threaten order. The Aztec temple is gone, but its logic lives in algorithms, policies, and the stories we're sold. Today's flutes are notifications, breaking one by one when the platform decides your time is up. The four brides, status, access, novelty, exemption, still tempt, but the blade is a shadow ban, a cancelled contract, a viral thread. Confession lives in comment sections and privacy policies, where your secrets are harvested for loyalty. The state still regulates bodies, not with obsidian, but with taxes, licenses, and terms of service. The mechanism hasn't changed, only the mask has. You're not here to be a tourist, you're here to build sovereignty. If this descent has sharpened your eyes, hit like, subscribe, and share this with one man who needs to see the gears. Drop your city or state in the comments. Let's make this map a constellation of men who refuse to be owned. Write this twice in the comments. No altar owns me. No altar owns me. That's not for the algorithm, it's for your spine. We've walked the corridors of Tenochtitlan, seen the temple's levers, and felt the weight of a system that turned desire into obedience. But the stairs go deeper. In the next chapter, we'll enter the palace where marriages were treaties, confessions were contracts, and the sweetest nights were traps set by empire. Stay with me. The mirror gets darker, and the lessons get sharper. If you're still here, you're not just listening, you're mapping a truth most will never see. Hit like, subscribe, and drop your city or state in the comments. From Chicago to Chennai, let's build a brotherhood that reads the blueprint and writes its own. Keep your eyes open. The flutes are breaking, and the steps are waiting.